Hi, my name is Robin Couder. This is Musicamea Profile, and my friends call me Rob, so you can call me Rob. My career started 20 years ago with a pop career. I was a singer. I did two records, and it went a bit not very successfully. I ended like completely broke and without any contract. And then I met my wife, and she was studying in a cinema school in Paris named La Femis. And I started to hang out with some directors, some editors, and I didn't think myself as a composer for cinema, but all those directors, they had the idea first. And first, of course, my wife, she did a short movie called Pink Cowboy Boots. You might want to see it on YouTube. It's kind of funny, and Sébastien Tellier is acting in it, for instance. I do also act in it, and my wife, so does my wife. So that was my first experience as a composer for cinema. And in the same school, there was also other directors like Rebecca Zlotowski or Teddy Modeste. And I think when they saw this short movie, Pink Cowboy Boots, they thought that I was really the kind of people they expected, they wanted to work with for music. So when they did their first long feature, so for Rebecca it was Belle Épine, and for Teddy Modeste it was Jimmy Rivière. They naturally asked me for music. So what is interesting with Rebecca is that we were friends. So we had a very strong relationship, and we were very close to each other. We were really like having a lot of things in common. So to work together felt very natural again, and very instinctive in a way. It's like we don't need to talk much when we are together to know what is good or what is bad. And also what I like is that we started our career together, because Belle Épine was our first feature. It was also my first experience in a long feature. So we kind of learned how to make music on cinema together. We did the first mistake together. We had our first success together. So for our second feature, Grand Central, it was very obvious that she would ask me for music again. And it was very interesting because we both are very keen into experiment. And anytime we were together, we wanted explore new dimensions, new feelings, new way of expression. It's really cool because we did Belle Épine, Grand Central, then Planetarium, then we did a series for French TV called Les Sauvages. And from there to there, it's been a long journey, and I can feel like it's just the beginning. I feel like we're going to work together again and again and again. And that kind of relationship is very specific to directors and musicians. When you think of, for instance, very classical Steven Spielberg and John Williams, or Sergio Leone and Ennio Morricone, or Roman Polanski and Christophe Comeda, you have this very strong relationship. And I love this idea of having two strong artists, such as a director and a musician, working strongly together and making better things together. That's what I love the most with working in cinema, is that you get to meet very important artists, and you mix your own art with their art. And this is very precious to me. Horns was a very good experience for me because it was my first time working with the American business. It was a studio movie, so a lot of money, a lot of people involved, and especially a lot of strong producers. In France, the director is really considered as an artist, and he's really protected by his producer. So he's really the one with the final cut. He's the one in charge of all the artistic direction, and he's got all the trust from the producers. Whereas in America, the director is more hired by the producer, and he's more like a technician almost. Someone who will be in charge of directing the movie, but it's not always his movie in a way. It's more complicated than that. And the producer, most of the time, has the final cut and the final word. He's going to be the one in charge of the final decisions about the movie. So for me, it was a bit strange because because Alexandre Aja is French. We were in between. We were like instinctively working like we would have done in France, but in the US. So it was a bit twisted, and I think it kind of it fooled us because we were so friend and happy to work together. I think we forgot in a way that there was someone, let's say, someone bad upon us, and that was the producer, obviously. So we did what we felt good for the movie, happy about it, and then in the end, the producer said, "Okay, but I have my word to say, and I'm not sure about this, and that." Because maybe we did something very in a French way, so maybe a kind of independent style and a bit twisted and weird, etc. And I think they expected something more like a studio music, very classical with a big orchestra and very something very classical because they had a lot of expectation because of Daniel Radcliffe, etc., etc. So there was kind of a big misunderstanding between the director, me, and the producer. So it was a good experience for me to learn about how it goes in the US and how to deal with it. I wouldn't say it was easy. I wouldn't say it was even fun or even comfortable, of course, but very interesting. I'm not really a fan of horror movies. I don't know why I ended like this. It's a territory where it's very good to have someone bringing some strong artistic things, because a horror movie requires that some power and some identity. On Gretel and Ansel, for instance, I think it was a very beautiful way to modernize the fairy tale aspect of a story. And I could have done a very classical music, like when you think of a fairy tale, you think of an orchestra, some harp, some celestas, some very Irish melodies or whatever. And I think to use very bad, strong synthesizers, very twisted melodies, very weird noises and sounds, I think it's a very cool way to do some new stuff about fairy tale, for instance. I like to think that I have a very romantic approach and my own emotions and my own feelings. However I start on a project, it can be just reading the script, or it can be watching some first shots, or it can be just talking with the director. I do the same, which is putting myself in a very creative mood, and I trust my fifth sense, and I close my eyes and I start composing with my synthesizers in my studio or whatever, piano, guitar, flutes, or whatever. And I do a lot of music like this, like it was automatic composing, like what you can do in poetry sometimes. Like you write everything you have in your mind without even thinking about it. Well, I do the same with music. I play, I record everything, I play during like a week, and in the end I have tons and tons of music, and then I sit down, I listen to it, I think about it, and I start to edit, to take what's good, what's bad. Then, of course, it changes a lot from a project to another, especially because it depends on what time I'm in the project. In the US, they like to hire the musician in the very, very last moment. Sometimes, like with Rebecca or with Alexandre Aja or with the people I'm very close to, we talk about the movie even before the script was written. So that gives me a very intimate relationship with the project. Like I feel like I have the fantasy of the project even before the director, in a way. I like that because I think it's good to start with freedom and then step by step build something very constructive and very efficient for a specific project such as a movie. But it's good for me to start like if I was just expressing myself.